She thought she was meeting a friend, but he was waiting in the dark. She got in the car and never made it home. You're watching an unbelievable true story where we only tell real stories. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Now let me tell you what really happened. This happened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A 13-year-old girl named Alicia Kozakiewicz. It was New Year's Day. She had just finished dinner with her family. Then she snuck out the front door to meet someone she thought was her age. Someone she met online. But this man, he was 38 years old. He wasn't a kid. He wasn't even close. He had spent months grooming her, pretending to be her friend, telling her everything she wanted to hear. So when she got in that car, she had no idea it was a trap. He drove her across state lines, locked her in a basement dungeon. No windows, chains on the floor, a camera in the corner. He kept her there for 4 days. She was beaten, starved, tortured, live-streamed online to other sick people. And here's the part that chills my bones. He was planning to kill her, but somehow, a stranger on the internet saw the video and called the FBI. That one phone call saved Alicia's life. They busted down the door right before it was too late. Now listen to me. Every 40 seconds, a child is abducted, and most of the time, it's by someone they already know. This could happen to anyone. That's why we linked a family safety course in the description and first pinned comment. It teaches kids and parents how to spot danger, what to do if something feels off, and how to escape fast. It's simple, it's smart, and it could save a life. Now stay with me, because we're about to break down who this man really was, how he found her, and the one mistake that almost cost her everything. Let's get into the full story. It was New Year's Day, 2002, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The city was cold and quiet. Families were still cleaning up from the night before. Fireworks, confetti, leftover cake. In Alicia's house, they had dinner. She helped with dishes. Everything seemed normal. But Alicia had a secret. She'd been talking to someone online. Someone who said they were her age. A boy. Nice. Cute. They liked the same music. He said he understood her better than anyone else. He made her feel special. Made her feel seen. Said her parents didn't get her. Said he did. Now listen. Alicia didn't tell anyone. Not her parents. Not her brother. Not her best friend. Why? Because this boy told her to keep it a secret. Said it was their thing. Said if her parents knew, they'd be mad. So when he said, "Come outside. I want to finally meet you in person," she did. She walked right out the front door. Just after dinner. Didn't even say goodbye. That was the last time her family saw her for days. The man she met, he wasn't 13. He wasn't even close. He was 38 years old. A grown man. With a car. Handcuffs. Chains. And a plan. He grabbed her the second she got in. Locked the door. And drove. Across state lines. From Pennsylvania to Virginia. No one saw. No one knew. He just vanished with her in the car. His name was Scott Tyree, and he had spent months grooming Alicia online. Every message, every lie, every compliment. It was all part of his plan. He didn't find her by accident. He picked her. On purpose. Because she was kind. Because she was curious. Because she was trusting. And because he knew. No one had warned her about people like him. When Alicia's mom realized she was gone, she thought maybe she'd just gone for a walk. But something didn't feel right. She called her name. Checked outside. Called friends. Nothing. Then she called the police. They searched everywhere. The neighborhood. Local parks. Her school. They knocked on doors. Put out flyers. But Alicia? She was already hundreds of miles away. Locked in a basement. In a dark, dirty room. No windows. No way out. Tyree chained her to the floor. He had cameras. Ropes. Tools. He tortured her. Starved her. And live-streamed it online. To strangers. To other predators. And he told her, "If you try to scream, I'll kill you. If you try to run, I'll find you." Alicia was gone for 4 days. In that room. Afraid every minute. No food. No way to tell night from day. She thought she was going to die there. And nobody would ever know what happened to her. But something crazy happened. Something that felt like a miracle. A man across the country saw one of those live streams. He saw Alicia, chained up, crying, and he called the FBI. That call saved her life. Now let me tell you something real. In the United States, a child goes missing every 40 seconds. That's from a National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 2023. And 80% of the time, it's not a stranger. It's someone the kid already knows. Online friends, neighbors, even family. That's why we added a free family safety course in the description and first pinned comment. It's made for parents and kids. Simple stuff. What to do when something feels off. How to spot grooming. How to escape. How to survive. No fluff. Just stuff that works. The house was plain. Gray siding. Quiet street. Just another home in Herndon, Virginia. Nobody knew a kidnapped girl was inside. The basement door was locked. The windows were sealed. And behind it all, Alicia was still chained to a metal bolt in the floor. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't slept. Her wrists were bleeding. Her voice was hoarse from crying. But she was alive. When that tip came in, the one from the stranger who saw the stream, the FBI didn't waste time. They worked fast, tracked the IP address, narrowed it to a neighborhood, found the house. They didn't knock. They busted in, guns drawn, yelling, flashlights slicing through the dark. And then they saw her, Alicia, 13 years old, sitting on the floor, wrapped in a dirty blanket, too weak to stand. Her eyes were wide. She didn't know if they were there to hurt her or save her. One agent dropped to his knees, said, "It's okay. We're here now. You're safe." But Alicia didn't feel safe. Not yet. She hadn't felt safe since she got in that car. They arrested Scott Tyree right there. No fight. No excuses. He just looked at them and said, "She's in the basement." Like it was no big deal. Like he hadn't just destroyed a child's world. They took Alicia to the hospital, hooked her up to IVs, cleaned her wounds, gave her warm food, soft clothes. But it wasn't just her body that needed healing. It was her spirit, her trust, her belief that the world was okay. Back home in Pittsburgh, her family was waiting, crying, holding on to each other, praying she'd be found. Then the phone rang. Her mom picked it up. A voice said, "We have her. She's safe. She's coming home." Her mother collapsed to the floor. The drive home wasn't quiet. It wasn't peaceful. It was filled with questions, memories she couldn't escape. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want hugs. She wanted to feel invisible, to hide. She was only 13, but she felt 100 years old. Scott Tyree, he got 19 years in federal prison, charged with kidnapping and producing child pornography. 19 years for 4 days of hell. Some say it wasn't enough, that he should have gotten life. But Alicia, she wasn't focused on him anymore. She had something bigger to do. Because after everything, after the pain, the fear, the chains, Alicia didn't stay silent. She stood up. She spoke. She started sharing her story. On stages, in classrooms, in government buildings. She looked people in the eye and said, "This happened to me, and it can happen to anyone." She worked with lawmakers, helped pass a bill named after her, the Alicia's Law. It gives money to law enforcement, so they can rescue other kids like her, before it's too late. She also helped build support systems for survivors, gave them hope, taught them how to fight back. Alicia didn't let what happened define her, but she also never forgot it. She couldn't. Now, let me be clear. Alicia was lucky. Most kids never make it back. According to the FBI, 2022, when a child is abducted by a stranger, 44% are dead within the first hour. Let that sink in. 1 hour. That's why this matters. That's why we keep telling these stories. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Alicia's story isn't just about survival. It's about truth, about what predators look like, how they work, and how quiet the danger can be. They don't always jump out of bushes. Sometimes they slide into DMs. Talk sweet, earn trust, then strike. That's why, again, we linked a free family safety course in the description and pinned comment. It teaches kids and parents how to see the signs, how to speak up, how to get out. You don't need gear. You don't need skills. You just need the right knowledge. Alicia once said, "I walked out my front door thinking I was safe and walked into a nightmare." But she made it back, and now she helps others find their way back too. When Alicia got back home, she didn't smile much. Her room didn't feel the same. Her bed, her books, even her stuffed animals, they all felt distant. She sat on the edge of her mattress most nights, blanket wrapped around her, eyes open, waiting for something to jump out of the dark. Every sound made her flinch. A door creaking, a car engine, Footsteps in the hall. Because when you've been hunted, even silence feels loud. She didn't go back to school right away. Couldn't. She wasn't ready for questions, for whispers, for people staring like she was a ghost who came back. She had to learn how to feel safe again, how to trust, how to believe the world could be good. And that took time. Meanwhile, people kept asking, how did this happen? How could a girl from a good home, a quiet neighborhood, fall into a trap like that? The answer is simple. The danger didn't come through the door. It came through the screen. Back then, internet safety wasn't something schools taught much. There weren't TikToks warning kids about red flags. There weren't YouTube moms making videos about predators. Online chats felt like secret clubs, safe places. And Alicia? She didn't think someone would lie about their age. She didn't think someone could fake kindness that well. But that's the trick. Predators don't look like monsters. They look like friends. They wait. They listen. They learn what makes you feel alone. Then they use it. Scott Tyree spent months studying Alicia. He didn't rush. He was patient. He told her she was pretty, that her parents were too strict, that he understood her better than anyone else. And she believed him, because no one ever told her how dangerous sweet talk could be. She thought it was real. She thought he cared. And that's how grooming works. It doesn't start with threats. It starts with love. Fake love. Danger dressed up like kindness. And by the time the mask comes off, it's too late. After Alicia's rescue, law enforcement started to pay closer attention. They realized just how many kids were talking to strangers online, how many were keeping secrets, how many were being hunted right from their bedrooms. So they started programs, talks in schools, training sessions for parents. But still not enough, because grooming is quiet. It doesn't leave marks. It leaves confusion, shame, and fear. And most kids don't report it. They blame themselves. They freeze. That's why Alicia began speaking out. She went to schools, sat on panels, told her story over and over again. Not for pity, but for change. She looked teenage girls in the eyes and said, I thought I was smart, but he tricked me. And that honesty hit hard, because if it could happen to her, it could happen to anyone. She also helped train law enforcement, taught them how predators think, what signs to look for, how to catch them before they move. She turned her pain into purpose, and people listened. She didn't want revenge. She wanted prevention. So no other girl would have to wake up on a basement floor, wondering if she'd ever see her mom again. Let's be honest. Most families aren't ready. They don't think their kid would ever talk to someone online. They think, my child's too smart for that. But predators don't need your child to be dumb. They just need them to be lonely. And loneliness is everywhere. That's why we keep saying it. We linked a free family safety course in the description and first pinned comment. It teaches kids what to say, how to spot manipulation, and what to do before it's too late. It's not about fear. It's about power. Knowledge is power. Alicia once said, if I had known what to look for, I never would have left the house. That's what this story is for. Not to haunt you, but to help you see it coming. And here's something that's hard to hear. Most child predators are not strangers. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, 2021, 93% of child sexual abuse victims know their abuser. Think about that. It's not stranger danger. It's someone the child already trusts. And that makes it harder to spot, harder to escape, harder to believe. Alicia's parents blamed themselves. They cried every night, wondered what they missed, what they could have done different. But the truth is, this wasn't their fault. They were loving. They were present. But they didn't know what predators knew. Now they do. Now they talk. Now they help other families see the signs. Alicia's law changed everything. It didn't just get passed quietly. It came with fire, with stories, with facts that made lawmakers squirm in their seats. It was created to give police the tools and funding to track down internet predators faster, to catch them before they hurt someone, to stop what happened to Alicia from happening again. Here's how it works. When a predator shares illegal content, photos, videos, live streams, it often leaves a digital trail. But tracking that trail takes time, takes money, takes trained people on the ground. And most local police departments, they don't have that. So kids get missed, warnings go unanswered, and predators keep moving. Alicia's law gives child rescue units the support they need. special agents, technology, 24/7 response teams. It doesn't wait for someone to go missing. It moves before the worst happens. Since the law passed in multiple U.S. states, thousands of children have been rescued. That's real impact, real lives saved. And it started with a girl who refused to stay quiet. Alicia didn't stop there. She helped build the Alicia Project, a foundation that teaches kids and families how to recognize grooming and how to speak up without shame. She spoke in schools, courts, capitals, even on national news. She stood in front of cameras, looked straight into them, and told the world, "I'm not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And every time she spoke, somebody listened, somebody learned. Now let's talk about Scott Tyree, the man who took her. He served his sentence, 19 years in federal prison. And when the time came for his release, people panicked, not just in Alicia's town, all over the country, because he wasn't just some name on a list. He was the face of evil, the man who'd stalked, kidnapped, and tortured child, and filmed it. Alicia herself spoke out when his release was announced. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She calmly said, "I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid for the next child he targets." And that hit harder than any scream. After release, Tyree was placed under federal supervision, restricted internet access, limited movement. But here's the thing. You can't erase what someone like that has already done, and no one can promise it won't happen again. That's why Alicia keeps fighting, because she knows predators don't stop. They evolve. They adapt. They wait for the next opportunity. And the only real defense? Education, awareness, training. That's why we remind you again. If you're a parent or someone raising kids, check the free family safety course in the description and pin comment. It's not about fear. It's about being ready. What to do when your child comes home quiet, when they hide their screen, when something just feels off. That feeling matters. This course helps you know what to ask, what to watch for, and how to protect your family. Now, let's go back to Alicia, because even with all the laws, all the speeches, she still has to live with the past. There are scars you don't see, things she remembers without meaning to. Smells, sounds, dreams that wake her up in a sweat. She said in an interview once, "People think rescue is the end, but it's really the start of a long, long road." And she walks that road every day. But here's what's beautiful. She didn't get bitter. She got bold. She still laughs, still dreams, still believes in people. And that's something no predator can ever take. Now, let's be real. There are thousands of Alicias out there. Kids who haven't been found yet. Kids still being tricked online right now. Kids in chat rooms, on gaming platforms, on apps their parents never heard of. And the predators? They're still hunting. Every day, every hour. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 2023, they receive over 25,000 tips per week related to child exploitation online. Let that sink in. Not per year, per week. That's why we do this. Why we tell these stories. So you see the danger and act before it knocks on your door. Alicia Kozakiewicz was taken, but she came back with fire, and she turned her worst nightmare into a mission that saves lives. She's not a victim anymore. She's a warrior. Today, Alicia isn't hiding. She's not shrinking. She walks into rooms with her head high, even when her hands still shake. She knows what pain feels like, what it's like to beg inside your mind, just to go home, just to be seen, just to not be forgotten. And because she knows that, she refuses to stay silent. She started using technology to fight back, the same kind that was used to hurt her. She now uses it to protect others. Alicia works with cybersecurity experts, law enforcement task forces, and online safety groups. She's helped build alert systems, training videos, and digital tools that spot online predators early, before they make contact. She knows how they work, and now she helps the world stay one step ahead. She also mentors survivors, not with fake smiles or shallow words, but with truth, with real talk, with a listening ear, because she knows healing isn't about forgetting. It's about owning your story, so it doesn't own you. And everywhere she speaks, in schools, in courtrooms, on national TV, she always ends with the same message. One sentence. Simple, direct, unshakable. You are not alone. She says kids need to hear that. More than rules. More than lectures. They need to know they're not weird for being scared. Not broken for falling into a trap. Not bad for trusting the wrong person. They need to know someone's been there and made it out. Alicia made it out. But not everyone does. There are still kids right now, scrolling through their phones, getting messages that feel nice. Until they don't. There are still parents, working long hours, thinking their child is safe upstairs, not knowing someone else is already in their world, through a screen. That's why we keep sharing this. In the description and pinned comment, we linked a free family safety course. It teaches you how to talk to your child, not scare them, but prepare them. It shows what grooming looks like, how to escape a dangerous situation, and how to speak up early. It's not long. It's not hard. It's 1 hour that could change everything. Because Alicia's story is real, and it almost ended in a basement, chained to the floor. But a stranger called the FBI. Agents moved fast, and she came home. Now she's helping the rest of us do the same. Come home to truth. Come home to safety. Come home to each other. If you take nothing else from this story, take this. Don't assume your child would never. Don't assume danger looks scary. It doesn't. It often looks friendly. It often smiles. And it often waits. But now you know. Now you've seen. Now you've heard the truth. And maybe now you're ready. Alicia once said, "I lost the world I knew in one moment, but I found a purpose no one can take from me." She's living that purpose every day. For herself. For survivors. For the next kid who needs a voice. When his gets stolen. This story wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. But it was real. And real stories can save lives.